5 regular meeting of the City of Troy Planning Commission. Copies of the agenda for tonight's meeting are available at the entrance to the room. Agendas and minutes of prior meetings are available on the city website. The meeting will be conducted in accordance with the agenda as presented or amended by the Planning Commission.
State law establishes planning commissions. This planning commission is comprised of 9 residents appointed to serve our community. Members are appointed by the mayor and confirmed by the city council. Other individuals participating in the meeting include representatives of the city's planning department, city attorney's office, and the city's planning consultant, Carlisle Woodman Associates.
If you wish to address the Planning Commission, please come forward to the lectern when recognized and clearly print your name and address on the sign-in sheet. Please begin your remarks by stating your name for the benefit of the commissioners. All remarks are to be addressed to the Planning Commission and not to anyone else in the room. If you have a cell phone or any other device that might disrupt this meeting, please either switch it to silent mode or turn it off. At this time, I ask the Planning Commission Recording Secretary Kathy Zarnicki to conduct the roll call.
Mr. Buechner?
Here.
Mr. Faison? Mr. Fox?
Here.
Mr. Hudson?
Here.
Mr. Krent?
Here.
Mr. Lambert?
Here.
Ms. Mahalanali?
Here.
Ms. Parakis?
Here.
And Mr. Tagle? Quorum present, Madam Chair.
Great, thank you. Next, we have the approval of tonight's agenda. Would anyone like to make a motion? Ms. Mahalanali, seconded by Mr. Buechner. Or we're ready for the roll call.
Mr. Fox?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Krent?
Yes.
Mr. Lambert?
Yes.
Ms. Mahalanali?
Yes.
Ms. Parakis?
Yes.
Mr. Buechner?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next, we have the approval of the minutes from our June 10th, 2025 meeting. Yep, Mr. Buechner? Move to approve. Seconded by Mr. Fox. Any discussion, edits, corrections? All right, we're ready for the roll call.
Mr. Fox?
Yes.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Krent?
Yes.
Mr. Lambert?
Yes.
Ms. Mahalanali?
Yes.
Ms. Parakis?
Yes.
And Mr. Buechner?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next is public comment for items that are not on the agenda tonight. If anyone's here to speak on an item that's not on tonight's agenda, please come forward. Go ahead and sign in, and we'll give you 3 minutes, and I think Mr. Savadant will keep the time for you.
Good evening, can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. Hi, good evening, members of the Planning Commission, city staff, and members of the public. My name is Arben Staffa, 1612 Muir Drive, Troy, Michigan, and I'm here on behalf of Sterling Construction Inc., the applicant for the Crooks Road project. I have been trying to get into contact with staff regarding this project since April 15th. I've followed up several times over the past few months. I first emailed Mr. Savadant on April 15th. Then again on May 7th, I've followed up with additional emails to Mr. Savadant, Ms. Dufresne, and Mr. Carlisle on June 7th, and then again to Ms. Dufresne on June 26th. Unfortunately, I haven't received any responses to any of the emails, and this lack of communication is pretty concerning. Applicants deserve a fair process, which includes timely communication and the opportunity to be heard. These are the basic elements of procedural due process. We truly appreciate this commission's time and consideration, and we're looking forward to take the next steps together, but we can't do that without engagement from the city. We respectfully ask that the Crooks Road project be placed on the next available Planning Commission agenda or be informed of any outstanding issues preventing that. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Is there anyone else here for public comment? Okay. We're going to move on to the street vacation, which is a public hearing, street vacation request, SVJPLN 2025-0017. Request to vacate Deerfield Drive, approximately 60 feet wide by 85 feet long, west of Rochester, south of Waddles, abutting 3836 Gatwick and 3874 Gatwick and Town Haven Site Condominium, platted as part of Eden Dairy Subdivision Number 1 in Section 22. And I believe Mr. Sabanat's going to present.
Yes, thank you. For those, some people watching at home or in the audience, they may not know what a street vacation is. If I can find my page down here on my tablet, here we go. What is a street vacation? It occurs when the city transfers its interest in a right-of-way to a private owner, or in this case, private owners. And it's authorized under the Land Division Act. And for the purposes of clarity, a right-of-way is defined as a public street, a public walkway, or a public alley. And sometimes, not in this instance, but sometimes a right-of-way is approved but never developed. We call that internally a paper street. In this instance, I'll get into it. The street was developed, but it's only 85 feet long and it's a street to nowhere. But we'll get into that. As per the Land Division Act, when a right-of-way is vacated, ownership reverts to the
You're out of time.
Time's up, I'm done.
Yeah.
Night, everybody. When a right-of-way is vacated, ownership reverts to the owners of the property that abut the right-of-way, as long as they're in the same plat or the same subdivision. And in this instance, both applicants are in the same subdivision. The process, some of you have been through this a number of times, some of you have only been through it once. The application submitted, there's review from staff, including engineering and Department of Public Works. There's a Planning Commission public hearing. You see the star there, it indicates it's a public hearing. The Planning Commission makes a recommendation, which is your role this evening, is to make a recommendation. Goes before City Council at another public hearing, and then if the vacation is approved, the property is conveyed to the owners. There's a lot of issues we consider when we process these applications. I'll just run through some of the questions we asked. Is the land proposed for vacation currently in use by the city? Does the city have a need for the right-of-way in the future? Are public or private utilities affected by the vacation? Is there a need to retain easements? Will the granting of the vacation have an adverse effect on surrounding property owners? Will the vacation have an adverse effect on the utilization of the abutting property? And finally, is it in the city's best interest to keep the right-of-way? These are all questions that we from the city considered when we processed this application. So the right-of-way in question is circled in red. It's a stub street. It's 60 feet wide, and at its longest point, it's 80 feet long, and it's within the Eden Dairy Subdivision Number 1. I'll just zoom in on this a little bit. This is the right-of-way in question. It was approved in 1995 when the Eden Dairy Sub Number 1 was approved. It was paved with asphalt and concrete sidewalks, but it stubbed at property that remained undeveloped from 1985 until just recently when construction started. Why did construction start? Well, I think everyone here was on the Planning Commission last year when Town Haven Site Condominium was approved. And the decision was made for the applicant not to seek extension of that stub road into the development, so it terminates, it doesn't go anywhere, and it's not proposed to be connected. So at this point, it's 85 feet of pavement that doesn't do anything, except needs to be maintained. So, when the site is fully developed, the lines shown in green are storm drains that are going to utilize. They're going to be underground in that easement. Therefore, the city, if this is vacated, is going to have to retain an easement so they can access and maintain those lines. The asphalt and sidewalks are already been ripped up, and it's in the process of being reseeded, regraded. Well, actually, I got the order wrong. Regraded, reseeded, and planted with trees and shrubs. And this is north is to the left, But you can see here, this is the landscape plan when it's all said and done. If I can get this thing to, can you see the pointer here? All this hatch here, these specks, that's where the concrete and the asphalt's proposed to be removed. And you see they're going to reseed it with turf and or use sod. I think we're in the process of trying to get the developer to use sod instead of seed. We think he's going to be amenable to that. These are trees, and then what's going to happen is the owners of 3874 are one applicant, it's co-applicants. This is one owner from 3874. This is another owner from 3836 Gatwick. They jointly submitted an application. They're within the Eden Dairy sub, so if this were to be vacated, the dividing line would be right about here. Half of the right-of-way would go to this owner, half would go to this owner. They would be responsible for mowing the grass, pruning the trees, doing all the other things that property owners are responsible to do, but they'd have to be mindful of the fact that there's easements underground that for the access to the lines, and they can't plant any big trees. The roots are going to affect it, and they have to be mindful of the fact that if there's a leak, the city's going to show up with a backhoe, dig a big hole, fix the leak, and fill the hole in and put the grass back. And I can answer any questions that you may have. The comments generated by internal review, there's no opposition to this.
Mr. Buechner?
How deep is the pipe? The drain? How deep is the drain? Approximately?
I don't know.
Okay. 4 feet, 6 feet, we don't know.
In that neighborhood, deep. So water flows downhill. Newsflash.
Right.
So however
right.
deep the pipe is across the street that drains
On
to,
an angle.
it's going to be higher than that. So my guess is it's going to be 8 feet, 10 feet, 6 feet, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah, cool.
Mr. Fox?
So if I'm correct in understanding from your presentation, so the developer of the larger lot to the east is the one who's volunteered to tear up and remove the road and replace it with sodding?
Well, I wouldn't say volunteered to do it.
Okay.
I would say he's obligated to do it, but he's the one doing it,
Obligated
yes.
to do it, okay. And then it would go to the 3874 and 3836. I don't know if it's because I've been on ZBA for as long as I have, but those look like two very irregularly shaped lots that get created. And
Well, they're already,
yeah, they are.
They're already irregularly shaped.
Yeah. Okay.
and this wasn't asked by anyone on the planning commission, but it was a great question that one of the applicants asked. They're both in attendance this evening. Is this going to affect the amount of taxes they pay? Great question, right? The answer is no.
Oh, really?
The answer is no. Yeah.
No, we don't.
Because it's not an acreage lot, it's a platted lot, and there's assessing reasons and legal reasons why, but it's not going to increase the amount of taxes they pay, which is good. So instead of the city coming out and mowing the grass, that if it wasn't vacated, the city would go out on their schedule. It's more and more difficult to get summer students that are willing to work over the summer. So I'm going to guess that the city's mowing schedule is not going to be as regular as the people who have a vested interest in making it look nice. So it's kind of a win-win-win, I think, for all.
I had a couple questions. Well, first of all, I went over there today and it was already torn up and it looked like seeded or looked like there was grass already. So I'm a little bit confused, like that process already happened. And then when you say that the developer was told to do it, why are they responsible for that if it's owned by the city? I don't quite follow that.
Well, they're the ones who require the storm drains to drain the water from their property. So they've got the city is working in partnership with them. Again, they're the reason for the improvements are required. So they're required to pay for it and complete them. The city is inspecting to ensure that they're completed to the satisfaction of city standards and all local and state and federal laws, but that's typical when for any development. Typically the developer is responsible for making those improvements.
Okay.
And your first question
Yes.
was what?
Was why it's already looked like it's been?
Oh, yeah. So the improvements would have happened regardless of whether the vacation occurred or not.
Okay,
It's just in terms of timing.
okay,
I was on the site Thursday, I think, last Thursday, to meet with the Stancrofts just to talk about it. And they hadn't seeded or sodded yet, but it was tore up. The catch basins are still exposed, and it was clearly a construction site. There was machinery that was working in the back part of it, but I think they're making good progress. Probably not as quick as the neighbors hope, because when it's an active construction site, you've got the noise and the dust and those types of things.
okay. And then one other question. The size of the lot is large enough, it seems, to put another house there, it seems, no?
No, it wouldn't. It's not deep enough. It wouldn't.
It wouldn't, okay.
You wouldn't be able to meet the setback requirements.
Okay, that was my question. All right,
ZBA could offer a variance.
What's that?
I'm just saying ZBA could give variances.
Well, I mean,
Unlikely, given,
there's also an easement you can't build on top of.
okay. Well, I just wondered, the city's giving the land, and when I went over, it looked like there could be a house there, and I just wondered how that works. What if they decide together that they're gonna build a house there and rent it or whatever? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, it's encumbered. Even if it was big enough, it's encumbered by an easement,
Okay,
so not buildable.
all right. Does anyone else have questions for the planning department? Do we invite the applicant up for any reason?
I think
or-
it's appropriate in case I
Okay.
missed something.
Okay. Would the applicant like to come up and address the planning commission? Happy to, sure. That'd be great. Just sign in and introduce yourself, and we'll see if anyone has any questions for you.
Yes, good evening. My name is John Stancroft. My wife and I and our neighbors, the Shaws, are the co-applicants for this project. And we just want to thank you for your cooperation and your consideration. I'd also like to say that Brent has been extremely helpful in working with us and helping to shepherd us through this project. As you can imagine, it's not a lot of fun, even though there is a rainbow at the end of this, I believe. But we also, you should know, have been the beneficiaries of a lot of good people within the city government who have been very generous with their time and been very patient with us and very, very willing to work with us. And Brent's been out a few times and met with us. The builders met with us just yesterday again. So we think that we still have some questions to be answered and some things to be ironed out, but I think they can easily be done. There is no grass there, by the way. I was there all day today outside. They did come in and they did do a little bit of grading. They did clean up the area between the street and the sidewalk, and they did repair all of our various sprinkler systems so that those are now working again. So they're not finished, but at least we now have water. So that's a good thing, and we've been without it for a couple of weeks. So again, everybody's been very helpful there, and the people that we've worked with have been very willing to listen to our issues and to be accommodating wherever that's possible. So we look forward to a finished project. If you like our commitment that we'll never build on there, we won't build on there, and we can't because there's a storm drain that goes right down the middle. So we have no other plans for that other than having it be beautiful and have grass and maybe a few really nice trees and just enjoying it for our own personal use. So we're happy that we were able to reach an agreement with the city and with the builder, who, again, have all been very, very willing to work with us. So thank you very much. And that's
Great, thank you.
kind of what all I need to say. I think.
Hang on for me
Any
1 second.
questions?
Does anyone have any questions? Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, Mr. Fox.
Not so much a question. I mean, this looks pretty straightforward to me. I think it'd be a great addition to the neighborhood. I guess my only thought, you have a beautiful neighborhood. It's all sidewalked up and down both sides of that street, Gatwick there. If you get the opportunity to throw maybe some benches or something that like folks in the neighborhood can walk by and enjoy the scenery and kind of,
We'd be happy.
yeah, it wouldn't be a requirement. Do not misunderstand me, but if you get the chance.
You don't know this, but everybody in the neighborhood that has an issue that they want dealt with, they come to me. I'm like the mayor of Gatwick. They call me. So So whether it's new mailboxes or it's getting their sprinkler system fixed or their trees trimmed or whatever. So yeah, I'm sure that if anybody has any ideas like that, they'll let me know, and I'll be happy to work with them as I always do. So
I hope you guys enjoy the green space.
anybody else?
Mr. Lambert?
How did you happen to know about this process? Did somebody from city staff suggest?
No,
this
the
to you?
builder actually approached us when they first bought the property. We've been working with Mondrian since they first bought that property. And they had some other plans in the beginning, and the neighborhood kind of asked me if I would represent the neighborhood with the builder. And the first plans that he had were not agreeable to us at all. And they listened to us, and they stopped all their plans for, I think, 2 years, and then they came back with 19 almost $1 million houses, and of course the development that goes with it. And we said, okay, we can't argue with that. You own the property, so you can do what you want. But he said, in doing so, would you be willing to consider, if we could get it done, to let the city vacate that property and you take ownership of it, and here's what we would propose to do with it. And they offered to plant a few arborvitae or some other trees in the middle of it to make it look nice. And so they've made an investment in this too. And as I said, there's a few little things we need to iron out with engineering department, and they've been very helpful and willing to work with us too. So Public Works, we've met with them about the trees. Everybody has been bending over backwards to help us and listen to our concerns and do whatever they can to help us with it. So it's, as Brent said, it's a win-win-win. The city doesn't want this property. They don't want to deal with this little piece of stuff there. The builder certainly doesn't want it, and I guess we're happy to take it because it doesn't make our property any more valuable, but it does make it more beautiful, I think. And so
Preserving some green
so we're
space,
willing
which
to
will
do
be
that,
nice.
so.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Any
Tax
questions?
increase either.
Okay. Thank you again for your consideration.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so it is a public hearing, so we're going to go ahead and open it up in case anyone's here who wants to speak on this. All right, seeing no one here for the public hearing, we'll close the public hearing, and we'll turn it back to Planning Commission discussion.
May I start with a motion?
Please.
I'd like to motion, resolve that the Planning Commission hereby, this is a silly question. On the proposed resolution, do I start with the second paragraph? I feel like I always start with the first paragraph, and it's like, I feel like I repeat a bunch of stuff. So I'm just going to start with the second and see what happens. If somebody yells at me, I'll take it.
Resolution is good. Resolved.
Resolved that the Planning Commission hereby recommends to the City Council that the street vacation request to vacate a portion of right-of-way approximately 60 feet wide by 85 feet long, abutting 3836 Gatwick to the south, 3874 Gatwick to the north, and the Town Haven Site Condominium to the east, platted as part of the Edenberry Sub Number 1 in Section 22, be approved, subject to the following: the city shall retain easements for utilities.
Do we have a second? Mr. Krentz going to second that? Open for discussion. Yep, Mr. Biegner.
I've lived in Troy for 29 years. I had a vacation about 22 years ago, and it was a win-win-win. Whenever you guys have stolen what I was going to say. I mean, it's great for everybody. I've also had an easement on a commercial building, so you have my approval. I like it a lot.
Anyone else? All right, I think we're ready for the roll call.
Mr. Hudson?
Yes.
Mr. Krantz?
Yes.
Mr. Lambert?
Yes.
Ms. Malala-Holly?
Yes?
Ms. Parakis?
Yes.
Mr. Biegner?
Yes.
Mr. Fox?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you very much for coming in. It'll now go to City Council for approval. We're recommending approval to City Council, and then they'll take it from there. And there'll be another public hearing at the City Council meeting. I don't know when it will be on their docket.
Yeah, I don't know when. We need to notify, there's time requirements, et cetera. But Mr. Stancroft, I'll reach out to you. You can be the conduit to your neighbors and everyone else. The mayor of Gatwick. That sounds like a sitcom, the mayor of Gatwick.
No, add that to your resume.
And by the way, when the builder first came to us and talked to us about a vacation, we thought you were going to send us to Acapulco.
Yes.
Keep waiting for that one, yeah.
When's your next vacation?
That's great. All right, so moving on to public comment for items that are on tonight's agenda. If anyone has anything to say about tonight's item number 5 that we just visited. All right, seeing none, we will move on to Planning Commission comment. I'll start with Mr. Biegner.
I'm good.
Mr. Hudson?
My ears aren't that good. The young man who is speaking to us before the regular meeting today. He was asking him what to be put on the agenda.
He was referring to an application for approximately 150 apartment units located on the west side of Crooks, north of Waddles.
Thank you.
Mr. Lambert?
Concerned Mr. Biegner hasn't had a vacation in 29 years.
Yeah,
but-
22, yeah, I know. It was nice that he did have one 22 years ago.
Yeah, I won't say anything, I'll just put these ideas in Mr. Savidan's head. One, talking about the award that we found out about, and hopefully the city will do a news release on that. And secondly, considering how many people were absent tonight, are you going to kind of poll the planning commission to see about whether we will be having a meeting in 2 weeks or not? So you don't have to answer it and wait till it gets to you, so that's it.
Ms. Malala Holly?
Nothing, thanks.
Guess what? Planners Gathering. This will be on July 15th, the same time, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. And the subject this time is regulating home occupations post-pandemic.
Excellent, thank you. Mr. Fox?
I'm all set, thank you.
Ms. Dufresne?
So I do have one item to share with the board. This concerns the appeal that RL Car Wash filed with the Oakland County Circuit Court. Judge Rowe, a couple weeks ago, did remand the matter to this board. So that will come back to this board for consideration. Essentially, the court said that this board did not adequately make findings and conclusions with respect to that application. So I had a conversation today with the two attorneys who handled it. Their client's considering either bringing back exactly what this board considered, or they may bring back a slightly revised site plan for the car wash. So I will draft a memo kind of outlining what this board will have to do going forward. It does affect resolutions that you put forward with respect to special uses. It will also affect how you make resolutions for PUD agreements, conditional rezoning agreements, and also rezoning agreements. We'll have to do a better job of making actual findings and conclusions instead of just saying it doesn't meet our ordinance criteria. We need to this board will actually have to outline exactly what you're finding with respect to how it doesn't comply with the ordinance, and then draw a conclusion from there. So it could possibly add an extra step to our meetings if we're unable to come to a consensus at the meeting. I know what ZBA has done in the past, and I don't know if they're still doing this, Mr. Fox, you can let us know, but in the past, what has happened is the ZBA will set forth a resolution directing staff based on the conversation to come up with a proposed resolution. So it does add an extra step, but. Yeah, sure. Questions?
Mr. Fox?
I'll share the opinion that Judge Rowe issued.
Yeah, I guess one procedural question I have, because I've never been in any type of a legal proceeding like that. Is it a situation where like the judge is reading our motions and like how they're written and like reported in our next approved minutes? Or is it a situation where the judge is watching our meeting?
Both.
Okay, both.
The judge, heard argument from both the counsel for El Car Wash. My colleague, Ms. McMillan, handled the matter on appeal. So heard argument, read the briefs, and then he actually it sounded like from Ms. McMillan that judge was ready to rule right after argument, but based on something that one side or the other said, he wanted to go back and actually watch the video of the proceedings. And so he did make mention in the opinion that he had watched the meeting.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other questions, comments, concerns? No, absolutely not. No, I have no comment about what Mr. Staffa had to say. Absolutely none.
Okay. Mr. Savana?
So can we do a quick poll now? Who's going to be here who's not going to be here in 2 weeks?
What's in 2
Which
weeks?
planning commission members are not going to be here? So
A Tigers playing? What is the deal?
what's that?
What's happening in 2 weeks? The
Yeah,
Tigers-
Planning commission.
I know, but I'm saying.
It's just summer vacation.
It's just,
Oh,
It's gonna be
I
90
thought it was
degrees
something
and-
important, like a Tigers game would interfere or something, okay.
Okay, so,
Mr. Motzney will be here. I already have him lined
okay,
up to cover.
so we have an attorney, we've got at least 7 planning commission members. So as of right now, we're planning on meeting in the council boardroom and discussing the neighborhood node amendment language.
Oh,
And-
you are not.
Yeah,
I'm not going to be here.
well, you're gonna have to watch on video then.
Zoom call in.
You got it. We can talk, we'll talk offline. We'll talk
I'm
offline.
not here.
And we also want to talk about
Talking about.
possibly creating a
Oh.
North Troy zoning district for the North Troy area. Right now, it's master planned for some exciting things to happen. We're starting to get pre-application meetings and actual applications for cool things happening up there. And I think there's a lot of zoning districts right now, and I think it's time that we talk about maybe consolidating into one zoning district that's going to help that area get redeveloped in a way that is appropriate.
May I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So A, that excites me, that there is a interest in developing a zoning ordinance for that area. But two, what is, with that vacant land that sits in front of Lucino's, is that how I say the Italian restaurant name? That's a massive piece of land.
You say vacant, it's parking lot.
Well, yeah, but a lot of things are growing on the parking lot.
Yeah. There's some buildings there that are underutilized. Including some massive office buildings. That property isn't the only one. The master plan calls for redevelopment, reinvestment in that area in a way that would really bring that area up and make it really exciting kind of a place, a 24/7 place with some mixed uses. I can't get into I don't know enough about that property in terms of why it is in the state it's in. There's a lot of properties up there, but we'll start a discussion in 2 weeks, and then we'll go from there.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Regarding for those who don't know the news, the Michigan Association of Planning has an annual award. It's called the Implementation Award, and the city of Troy, it was announced yesterday, received it for the improvements that have happened along Big Beaver Road. And not exactly an overnight success. We adopted the Big Beaver Corridor study in 2006. So it's only taken us 19 years to get here. But the point is, you plan, then you zone based on the plan, and then you have development projects, and you spend a lot of time getting good investment, and then the development community, you get a critical mass, you get more investment, and it took 19 years to get to where we are. We're not finished yet. There's work to be done, but it's coming along. And it's really exciting for MAP to recognize the efforts of so many people, including this board. So I think I answered all your questions, right?
Yeah, Mr. Lambert?
News release.
News release, yes. I gave you the whole shooting match in terms of what MAP gave us, and they had language for potential news releases, et cetera. I shared that with our communications person, who's really, really good. And you can expect all kinds of information from the city. I don't know when, but the residents will be well informed of this. It's a big deal.
Yeah, indeed.
I would say kudos to you, Brent, because you probably have been here for, I don't know if you've been here since 2006, but you've been here for at least most of those years, if not all of them.
What I will say, Kathy was with us when in 2006 when we adopted the Big Beaver Corridor study, so she played a big role in this as well. The interesting thing is I'm one of the consistent faces, because I started here in 2002, and I've seen it all the way through, and I'm not done yet. But it started with the germination of an idea, and then to go all this way and to be involved in it. But again, City Council, the DDA, Planning Commission, Carlisle Wordman, engineers, architects. There's been so many people involved in this. It takes a city.
Yep, it does.
So.
Well, thank you, yep, for all your work.
Kudos to the
JR,
team.
do you have anything?
Yeah, no comment.
Okay. All right, well, I think that concludes our Planning Commission meeting tonight. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Really, what was yours?